Extortion 17. America's elite died once. We cannot let them die twice. 15 years ago, an event unfolded in Afghanistan that marked the deadliest single incident for U.S. forces in that war and the greatest loss of life in naval special warfare history. It was called Extortion 17, and the duty of every American is to ensure the brave men aboard are never, ever forgotten. There's an old, powerful saying: a soldier dies twice. First, when they draw their final breath, and again, when their name is spoken for the last time. On August 6, 2011, some of America's finest warriors died their first death. It might sound like a cliché to call these men the best of us, but in this case, it's profoundly true. General Wild Bill Donovan, who founded the WWII-era Office of Strategic Services, once described such operators as Ph.D.s who can win a bar fight. They possess brilliant, highly specialized minds, combined with the grit to get their hands dirty. These were Navy SEAL from SEAL Team 6 Gold Squadron, Air Force Special Operators, and Army aviation soldiers, alongside their Afghan commando counterparts. 31 Americans boarded a CH-47 Chinook helicopter, answering an urgent call for support. They were heading into Afghanistan's Wardak province. In an instant, tragedy struck. The helicopter was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade, killing everyone aboard. They were gone, but their stories, their legacy, will always remain. Extortion 17 wasn't just a call sign or a date. It was personal for many. These men were among the most elite warriors our nation has ever produced, operating in the shadows, enduring long periods away from their families, and carrying burdens most of us will truly never grasp. Yet, they were also among the kindest, most empathetic, and respectful human beings you could ever meet. This is the paradox of the American warrior. They possessed a rare and necessary ability to dim their empathy like a switch, unleash overwhelming violence against evil on our behalf, and then return home to be a dad again. They were the monsters our enemies feared, and the devoted fathers, husbands, sons, and brothers their families cherished. On that fateful night, Rangers from the 75th Ranger Regiment were in a fierce engagement with the enemy in the Tangi Valley. They desperately needed reinforcements. When the call came, the men of Extortion 17 didn't hesitate. They didn't debate the danger. They didn't take a vote. They simply flew off into the night. In doing so, they upheld a covenant few Americans will ever understand. When your brothers are in harm's way, you go, even when the risk is extraordinary, even when death may await you. That is a warrior's life. We are blessed as a nation that such men and women still live among us. The precious few willing to carry this immense burden for the overwhelming majority. 15 years on, the pain for their families remains fresh. Chairs are still empty. Voices are still missed. The holes left behind have never truly been filled. Yet these families have moved forward, not past the loss but with it. They carry the weight of their loved ones with the same quiet strength those warriors carried for our country. Their sacrifice didn't end on that tragic day in 2011. It continues every morning. They wake up and choose to keep going. America owes them more than a moment of silence once a year. We owe them active remembrance. We must teach their names, tell their stories, and teach our children that freedom isn't self-sustaining. It demands strength, sacrifice, stewardship, and a profound love of country. We must remind them that the peace they inherited was purchased by men and women willing to stand between their families and evil. Remembrance isn't passive. It is a sacred duty, a duty to be worthy of their incredible sacrifice. We can never repay the men of Extortion 17, but we can, and we must, refuse to let them die twice.